This is CBN Newswatch.
And thank you so much for joining us this Tuesday, September 8th. I'm Ephraim Graham. Ahead today, those raging wildfires in California still growing, with one of the largest exploding overnight, and the fires being fed by record high temperatures hitting 121 degrees Sunday. The number of countries now establishing new embassies in Jerusalem continues to grow, as two more from Europe will be setting up in Israel's capital city. She died while in the hospital and went to heaven, then came back to tell us all about it. We're going to hear about her visit to heaven in her own words. And the gospel is spreading in a Muslim country where you might not expect it, Iran. All those stories and more are ahead today in this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to begin in California, where at least 25 major wildfires are burning across the state, one of them sparked by an explosion at a gender reveal party. And those fires are scorching hundreds of thousands of acres. Dale Hurd is on the story.
Firefighters across California are battling dozens of wildfires fueled by record-breaking heat, and several of the fires are still completely out of control. One of the largest fires outside Fresno exploded overnight to 135,000 acres, with 0% containment, after already burning dozens of homes in the town of Big Creek.
Your family's all jumping in the water to get away from the flames?
Yeah, there was really no warning. The fire just moved so fast, so there was only so much we could do.
Monday night, the California National Guard attempted a rescue using a military Chinook helicopter after reports of hikers trapped at a mountain resort. But heavy smoke prevented the pilots from making a safe landing.
Getting rescued right now.
But this rescue over the weekend was successful when a helicopter pulled hundreds of people to safety as flames surrounded them at a campsite.
Some of them were in critical condition with burns or broken bones. To get aircraft to fly at night into the mountains is really something else.
This year, wildfires have burned over 2 million acres in the Golden State. There have been at least 8 deaths, and more than 3,300 structures have been destroyed. The weather contributed to fire conditions. Record-breaking triple-digit temperatures hit California over the weekend. Los Angeles County saw 121 degrees. Now they're bracing for high winds. And fires are raging in other western states. Near Spokane, Washington, authorities say up to 80% of the homes in the town of Malden have been destroyed by a fire sweeping through the area. In Colorado, a wildfire north of Denver is now the largest in state history, burning nearly 100,000 acres. But a wild temperature drop by as much as 70 degrees and a snowstorm could come to the rescue as early winter-like weather arrives in the Rocky Mountain states. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Dale reporting there on that wild weather, and here with more is Joe Bastardi of Weather Bell. So, Joe, tell us about this heat wave in California. We talked about the record temperature of 121 degrees in LA County Sunday. How is the heat and the winds affecting these fires?
Because it's very, very dry. So, you know, a lot of the situation out there is a tinderbox at this time of the year. California is a dry climate naturally. And if you have below normal precipitation after near to above normal winter precipitation, you have a lot of extra foliage in the springtime that then dies. You know, you have to cut away the trees. There's been arguments over forest management for years out there. But this is really an extreme event out there. The wildfires, by the way, wildfires in the early 20th century would burn 5 to 10 times more than what acreage than what they burn today. You know, so you have to keep that in perspective. Back then it was very, very bad. We had no containment. At least today we do have some containment out there. But the heat is extreme. It's not going to be quite as extreme over the next several days, but it's still well above normal. And really there's not a lot of weather that is going to coming at them to improve things. I don't see any moisture coming out that way. The snowstorm, I'll tell you what, the snowstorm in the Rockies is going to put that fire out north of Denver pretty quickly, because they're getting record-breaking snow. In Denver, it's down to 37. It's still raining there. It's 28 in Laramie and snowing already. But we've been talking about this for a week, this thing coming down. And it is a record breaker in that the magnitude from going from 97 to 6 to 10 inches of snow I haven't seen that before in Denver. Now, the greatest swing in temperatures in Denver is over 100 degrees. That occurred last December. It went from 81 to 21 below 2 days later. So they're used to just some crazy stuff out there. But this is extreme. And the tropics are firing up. We got Paulette and Renee. We have a feature southwest of Bermuda. It'll be very active 2 to 3 weeks in the tropics, too. So a lot of weather going on. And this will diminish a bit in the west. The cold will diminish next week, but the tropics are getting fired up right now.
Wow. So you talked about those storms in the Atlantic. What can we expect from them?
Well, Renee is going through the Cape Verdes right now. It's just going to recurve, stay out at sea. Paulette's going to be interesting. It's going to try to recurve, then come back to the west, and then 7 to 10 days be between Bermuda and Puerto Rico. Have to decide whether it wants to go out or get stuck and try to come back. In the meantime, there's a feature over Africa now. Models are jumping all over. And they have it by day 10 in the northeast part of the Caribbean and by day 15 near Florida. And I think this is a parade coming for the next 2 to 3 weeks. This is the high point of the season. The pattern is ripe for these things to come off. The question is, do they do what they've done so far, which is get to the United States and hit the United States? We've had 6 storms, 3 hurricanes hit the U.S. Now, this is right in line with our preseason forecast. I've referred to this since you had me on back in April, that we expected a big impact season for the United States. But now we're seeing, Ephraim, the classic long track storms, the ones that are legendary from 44, 38, Hurricane Edna, Hurricane Donna, these legendary long track storms. Most of them stay out at sea, but it's the 1 or 2 that break all the way back that are the ones that we remember, and chances are we're going to have to deal with at least the threat of that down the road here.
It's going to be a long fall and a long winter. Weather meteorologist Joe Bastardi, we appreciate your insight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Good news on the coronavirus as the number of cases of COVID-19 continues to fall. There were just 24,000 new cases reported Monday. That is according to Johns Hopkins University. That is the lowest since June 21st. The death toll has plunged as well, with 267 recorded Monday, the lowest since the 4th of July, and far below the record of 2,666 set back in April. 2 more countries, Kosovo and Serbia, are moving to establish embassies in Jerusalem, although that could jeopardize their hopes of joining the European Union, which wants Jerusalem to be the capital of both Israel and a Palestinian state. President Donald Trump announced that Serbia would move its embassy to Jerusalem by next summer, and Kosovo and Israel would mutually recognize each other.
Serbia is committed to opening a commercial office in Jerusalem this month, and to move its embassy to Jerusalem in July. That's fantastic. That's a big thing. That's a very big statement.
The majority Christian African nation of Malawi also said over the weekend it plans to open a diplomatic mission in Jerusalem. Coming up, what started as a move to boycott a major U.S. food company because its leaders praised President Trump instead turned into a blessing for many people. We're going to tell you what happened when we come back.
Sex before you marry is a bad idea.
Don't tell me there's no such thing as gun violence.
That just depends on your definition of when life begins.
Watch Dan and Dale tackle trending topics that test your faith on the next Faith Wire, Monday night at 9:30. The Global Lane takes you around the world, providing facts over fiction.
What might rising trade and geopolitical tensions mean for you on the home front?
With over 45 years of experience, award-winning journalist Gary Lane brings you the truth from a global angle.
What about the issue of immigration?
World news analysis you won't see anywhere else.
And it's all right here on the Global Lane.
Watch The Global Lane, Thursday night at 9:30.
Region's first ROTC graduate student.
Welcome back to CBN Newswatch. It all started when a food company CEO offered praise for President Donald Trump, and that led to a boycott against the business. But that move prompted a Virginia man to fight back. As Mark Martin now reports, he launched a fundraiser to feed the hungry with the company's products, and he enlisted the help of CBN's Operation Blessing to distribute the food.
It began in July when Goya Foods CEO Robert Unanue complimented President Trump about the expansion of the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative.
We're all truly blessed at the same time to have a leader like President Trump, who is a builder. And that's what my grandfather did. He came to this country to build, to grow, to prosper. And so we have an incredible builder, and we pray. We pray for our leadership, our president, and we pray for our country that we will continue to prosper and to grow.
After hearing those words, critics jumped on social media calling for a boycott of the company, which claims to be the largest Hispanic-owned food company in the United States. That's when this man stepped in. Casey Harper launched a GoFundMe campaign entitled Buy Goya, Support Trump, and Feed the Hungry to turn the boycott into what he called a boycott. His efforts really paid off. Thus far, some 9,000 donors have contributed more than $300,000, blowing past Harper's original $10,000 goal. Harper, a producer for the TV show America This Week with Eric Bolling, documented part of the boycott.
And that means it's time for a Goya shopping spree.
He also reached out to CBN's Operation Blessing to help distribute the Goya products. Operation Blessing's Hunger Strike Force accepted the assignment.
Several truckloads of Goya products made their way to the Operation Blessing Distribution Center in Chesapeake, Virginia, before they head to the D.C. area, Texas, and Florida. And that's not all.
They want us to be able to reach from the state of Texas and the state of Florida. We'll be reaching all of our partners within those two states as well. And then from Texas, we're going to be reaching out into Arizona and Oklahoma and the surrounding states there, where we have ministry partners.
In addition, there are plans to send food to the Navajo and Cherokee Native American people. O'Grady tells CBN News that each of the 3 distribution centers are expected to ship out more than 80,000 pounds of Goya products.
During these challenging times when you're looking for resources as hard and as quick as you can to be able to take care of the people who are in need, it's just such an honor and a fulfilling experience just to know that we've been chosen as one of those partners by Goya Foods. And without Goya, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
And Goya itself is working to get food out to families who need it. The Working for Our Country Goya Gives campaign will distribute 2 million pounds of food across the U.S. and Puerto Rico. Mark Martin, CBN News, Chesapeake, Virginia.
Still ahead, we're going to hear from a woman who died and came back to life after her amazing visit to heaven. Her story is coming up next, right after this. Stay with us.
Daddy?
Yeah, buddy.
How many nickels are in a dollar?
There are 20 nickels in a dollar.
How do birds fly? Does milk really make my bones stronger?
Yeah.
Daddy, when we die, will we go to heaven?
Do you have the answer to life's biggest question? Call the 700 Club. We'll help you find answers to the important questions life brings your way.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts, in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain. Get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Charlotte Holmes had an experience that changed her life. While in the hospital last September, she died and went to heaven. She describes what she saw as more beautiful than she ever imagined. And she shared her amazing story on CBN's The Prayer Link. Take a look.
Tell us what happened to you.
I had been hooked up. My blood pressure was extremely high. My heart doctor put me in the hospital. Blood pressure was 234 over 134. All of a sudden, they had come in and given me a little sponge bath and was hooking me up to the monitors. My husband told me that I all of a sudden fell over in bed. My eyes were wide open. Within a short time frame, I come above my body. And I looked down and I could see my husband, I could see the doctors, the nurses, I could see them doing chest compressions on me. And for 11 minutes, I didn't breathe. But in a blink of an eye, I smelt the flowers. I heard the singing. I opened my eyes. I knew that I was in heaven. I've seen
you knew that you were in heaven. How did you know? Tell us, what did you see? Tell us, tell us more about, the colors and what you smelled.
The first thing was I smelled flowers. Now, I love flowers, but these were like no flowers that is on this earth. The smell. And then I heard music, and I love music, but there is no music like the angels and people praising God. When I opened my eyes, the beauty was undescribable. The colors were vibrant, the trees, the grass, the flowers, the oceans, the everything was wonderful. And the sky even, I've never seen the Northern Lights, but I've seen them on TV. And that's exactly what it was. And then I seen angels. You see, in a short period of time, because it's eternity in heaven. There's no time frame. God let me just visually see so much. And then I turned and I looked, and when I did, I see the golden gates. I seen them. They were gold. I seen the streets of gold. I seen my family.
Charlotte, you mentioned that you saw friends and family who had passed away, years before, including a baby that you had miscarried, years before. And a lot of people are really interested to hear about that. Tell us more about that.
as I looked upon my mother and my dad and my sister, family, and I seen this infant at my mom and dad's feet. Danny and I had a daughter, and then she was about almost 2 years old. Well, I was pregnant again, and I miscarried at 5.5 months. Well, back then, they didn't let you hold your baby. They didn't let you bury your baby. So there was this baby that's this big, and they said, Charlotte, it's a boy. Well, I went through depression. If people don't believe in depression, then I'm glad you don't, because you've never been through it then. But I wanted that baby. So as I looked upon this infant at my mom and dad's feet, I couldn't understand who that was. I knew everybody else, because it says in the Bible, we will be known as we were known. But I couldn't realize who that was. And God just told me, said, that's your child. And I said, but how? How can my child I was 5.5 months be now a toddler? And he explained that they continue to grow in heaven, but there's no time, so it's eternity. So 40 some years later, our child, was a toddler.
Wow, I can't imagine how you felt.
That's amazing.
Well, at one point, Charlotte, you looked back at your husband and family on earth, and they were crying. God gave you the choice to stay or return to earth. Why did you decide to return?
At that moment, when I looked back, I could see them crying. I have a granddaughter that's 20, a grandson that's 22. And I thought, I just want to see them get married. I want to be sure they're equally yoked. I want to be sure that my granddaughter has a husband that will lay his hands on her and pray for her, help her through this life. And the same with my grandson. And maybe I think it's a mother's instinct. And people said, why would you do that? And I said, I really can't answer that. But you see, I think my life had already been ordained from the day I was born, because I almost died the day I was born. And due to the things and circumstances that went through my life, I think it was already ordained. God knew. He knew when he gave me a choice that I was going to go back. He knew that I couldn't quit talking about it, that I had to share what he showed me.
Well, also tonight on the prayer link, you're going to hear from a young man who visited heaven as well. And he also took a very different and horrible journey to hell. That is tonight on the prayer link. And of course, you can find that on the CBN News Channel. It begins at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Coming up, the gospel of salvation, which opens the door to heaven, is spreading around the world, including a country many would never expect, the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're going to tell you that story when we come back. Stay with us.
Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep as the world watches from the outside.
It's a big diplomatic tug of war here in the Middle East.
Go inside the story with Jerusalem Dateline.
Israeli archaeologists are talking about a discovery that could change the thinking about the Temple Mount.
Join CBN Jerusalem Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell and get the biblical perspective on the events shaping the world.
It's what starts in Israel then ends up going to other places.
Watch Jerusalem Dateline Friday night at 9:30 on the CBN News Channel.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
It has the power to influence weight loss, boost your immune system, and improve brain function.
We've seen an explosion of data on the role of the gut microbiome in health.
The free Build a Better Gut booklet reveals the latest information about the gut microbiome. You'll discover how your gut affects the rest of your health.
The gut microbiome has been linked to depression and cancer and heart disease.
Learn how to build a stronger, healthier gut.
The microbiome, if it's in good composition, are really protecting us all the time from more invasive things.
Get the Build a Better Gut booklet, free from the Christian Broadcasting Network. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut.
You need to make sure that your microbes are working with you, not against you.
And if you order online, you'll get immediate access to the Build a Better Gut series, a digital copy of the booklet, and related bonus material. Build a Better Gut today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to cbn.com/buildabettergut for your free copy.
Gospel means good news, and there's good news about the spread of the gospel in the Islamic Republic of Iran. For years, mission groups have been talking about the rapid growth of Christianity in the Islamic Republic. A newly released survey of Iranian citizens supports those claims. Gaman, a research group based in the Netherlands, questioned some 50,000 Iranians, 90% of them living in the country. They found 1.5% of those surveyed identify themselves as Christians. Their conclusion? The number of Christians in Iran numbers in the hundreds of thousands and could be growing toward 1 million. Mobat TV broadcasts the gospel into Iran. CBN News spoke with Mobat's Mike Ansari about the significance of this latest survey.
1.5% of Iranians are self-claiming to be Christians. And that is compared to about 30 years ago being less than 1%. That less than 1%, everybody thought it was less than 0.5%. So it is extremely important. This data is important because it's indicative of the fact that in the country of Iran, in the midst of persecution and Islamic rule, Iranians are turning their back to their faith, to their institutional faith, and receiving Christianity as a new faith.
Ansari says the majority of the movement is happening underground and it's growing very fast. Time now for your Tuesday Tweetable. This is a message that I've shared before, but I feel like it bears repeating. Know this, your past is a lesson. It is not a life sentence. Make peace with your past, walking in the truth that God makes you free from it. So learn from the lessons of your mistakes, but don't live there. With that word, make this a terrific Tuesday. That is a wrap for this edition of CBN Newswatch. I want to remind you, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel at any time. You can also find them online at cbnnews.com. We'd love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today or any day. You can email us, the address right there on your screen, newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Make this a terrific Tuesday. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody, and God bless.